So Caroline the Liar Levette just had a press briefing about an hour or so ago, a little over an hour ago. And I want you to listen to the first person who was called upon to ask a question. Now, let me be very clear. If you're in that White House press briefing room, you're supposed to be a journalist. You're not supposed to be a talk show host, okay? You're not supposed to be an opinionated person. You're supposed to be a journalist. Now, we know that that doesn't always happen, but now we're taking it to a new level because the person who asked the first question today is a guy by the name of Tim Pool. Now, if you don't know who Tim Pool is, he is a guy who was paid with Russian money on his YouTube channel to spread a bunch of Russian propaganda. He was getting paid $400,000 a month. He was caught last summer in doing so. He's a conspiracy theorist, and he's probably, I think it's fair to say, a want-to-be Alex Jones. He shows up in the White House press briefing room wearing his winter hat indoors, which is bizarre, and wearing this warm-up outfit looking like a moron. And listen to the first question that he asked with Caroline Levette. Listen to this.
Many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by two different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland Man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you could comment on the unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Yeah, what a great question, you frickin' idiot. By the way, where's your suit, you jackass? You were the one crying to high heaven that Zelensky wasn't wearing a suit. You frickin' idiot. You walk in there with your stupid costume, with your winter hat and your warm-ups, and you want to talk about people that aren't wearing suits in there, you frickin' idiot. You're the same a-hole who was paid $400,000 a month spreading Russian propaganda. That's right. You're a partisan hack. I think it's very fair to say you're a wannabe Tucker Carlson and or Alex Jones. You have absolutely zero credibility. You sound like a chipmunk when you talk. You are talentless. You're a fool. And somehow the White House invites you into that room to ask a question. Obviously, this is an embarrassment. Who's next? Alex Jones? Dinesh D'Souza? Charlie Kirk? These are not journalists, just no more than Laura Loomer is a journalist. You see, if you're a journalist, it probably helps to have a degree. If you are a journalist, you're supposed to be having some credentials, not doing some right-wing Russian propaganda podcast that happens to have a lot of followers. That doesn't mean you're a journalist. This is a joke. It's an embarrassment. And also, we shouldn't be allowing people like that and having them access to possibly national leaders. Somebody like Tim Pool. Please explain to me what type of journalistic integrity that guy has. He shows up with his winter hat in studio, does his little podcast, right? Spreads right-wing propaganda and was caught getting paid money from Russia to spread propaganda on his show. How could anybody give anybody like that any bit of credibility, unless you're Caroline Levette, unless you're in the Trump administration, because you know he's going to ask puffer questions to make Donald Trump look good. This is a guy who can't criticize Donald Trump, who wears the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7. What a freaking embarrassment. Tim Pool, of all people, you idiot. Put on a suit, jackass.